Okay. Hello, hello, hello. You're live. Oh, I see BBB was here. He's so supportive. Thank you, BBB. Let's see. Child, we are learning how to work all this stuff. So I'm gonna see what I need to do to show the video. Oh well, first of all, hey y'all. This is Topocracy. How are you? How are you? Just call me Tiff. We are starting a series on what's the point. I'm going to just give me a second because I want to share the stream. Let me see. Okay, so if I want to share the screen, I think that's what I'll do to watch the video. Let's see if I did this. So a different layout. Let me see. I hope y'all had a productive day today. Let's see. That's not working. Let me see if I do invite. Okay, we copy. Go here. Let's see. I'm nervous, y'all, but I took my time. I had a great, just a cleanse and settling myself. Give me 1 second because I'm just gonna post this in a couple of Discords and keep it pushing. We'll see if again people show up. If they don't, they don't. You know, no hard feelings. I know people have things that they're doing. Here for the ladies. And come here. I got some people in here. I'm just gonna go. I think I can put this in the public chat. Lay my head and not my heart if this is wrong. I'll go here. So, what got me to even creating this stream was I saw this young lady, and the song was so impactful that I was just, hey PJ, thanks for showing some love. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Child, this is a figure it out type of stream, so I'm trying at this point to figure out how to show the video. Okay, I think this is her. I bet if I thank you. Let the others know I'm finally live, but I had to just kind of gather up the strength to do this. Let's see. This is when we get to bubble gum it. What is this right here? Oh, okay. So if I have videos, I guess I can add it here. Okay. Again, honey, sometimes you got to learn on the job. Yes, we're learning on the job today. Because sometimes with Nike say sometimes you just got to do it. That's just where we are. And you got to start somewhere, right? Let's see. I feel as if switch my screen. Okay. Let's hit share. And then we are going to play the song. We'll probably have to play it a couple times as people come in.
Be for better. Queen of the syrup. Hey. Turn that shit up, man. Hey, what's the motherfucking point, man? Hey, Hold on. I might just flash out on my pappy for that whole shit that he did. How you fucking on my mama, but couldn't take care of your kids? What's the point of calling you daddy when you never was a father? And what's the point of reaching out when a nigga ain't ever even bothered? But what's the point of me talking? I picked the same kind of VD. What's the point of him being 32, fucking me at 17? But what's the point of being sad? They just gon' label you as fast, cause you know dope boys not pedophiles long as they get in the bag. So what's the point of being mad? You better off not giving a fuck. They be screaming they hate P. Diddy, but still love they uncles. What's the point of keeping secret if he a threat to all the nieces? And why y'all hurting all the angels so you can protect all the demons? What's the point of even lying? You get caught up every time. What's the point of your relationship if y'all ass ain't even trying? How we glorifying murders, then we be shocked when niggas die? Like, what's the point? Are we down with catching bodies or we not? Like, what's the point of getting it right when that shit still gonna go left? What's the point of having fam if you can't ask them for help? What's the point of joining the game if you still feel by yourself? What's going on in the hood? These niggas done started doing meth. What's the point, nigga? You used to be a boss, now you a junkie, nigga. You used to bob a jump shot, didn't make no point, nigga. So what's the point, nigga? Nigga, what's the point? At the point of no return, I need a man till I lunch. What's the point of selling dope if you ain't gonna say the money? What's the point of having a baby to keep a nigga? You a dummy. What's the point of even asking? No, you can't get nothing from me. What's the point of baby wipes in case a bomb try to touch me? Hey, I'm going back in. What's the point of tomorrow when I'm right here today? And what's the point of me having if I can't have it my way? Say, what's the point of letting them hate? Cause they gon' do it anyway. But what's the point of all these questions? Sound like you investigate. I got some heavy on my neck, but today a light day. I'm heating up in this bitch. I might just be a microwave. I just beat up another bitch. I'm starting to feel like Johnny Cage. What's the point of hitting my phone if you ain't gonna get an answer? What's the point of playing real when we all know you an answer? And what's the point of having a pastor if he lying more than us? And what's the point of enemies when it's your friends you can't trust? Say, what's the point, bitch? Stop blaming everybody for your dumb shit. Take some accountability for all your nonsense. But that's just the point, shit. Bitches don't make no sense. Bitches ain't get no dollars. Bitches ain't get no sense. What's the point, bitch? Tell me what's the point? Ay, be for better, queen of the still. Hey, y'all, there goes. Hey, what's the point, bitch? Yeah.
I grew up always on the bigger.
Not the ads though. So let's figure out a thing. Let's see. So start sharing. Let's go back to StreamYard. So what's the point? You remember that freestyle? She really was pouring her heart out. And I found it to be almost heartbreaking that if that's what she freestyled, what's really going on. I think a lot of times we watch a lot of content that talk about Black men this, Black women that, and we're not aware that we're dealing with a bunch of people in a population that's hurt and sick, and we need to figure out what we need to do better for the next generation. Because for that to be a free braces, y'all, for that to just be a freestyle, and for her to have that like that, it bothered me so terribly bad. To even the way that the DJ was responding, in a sense of like, yeah, like I get it. He was bopping, and it's a bop, but did you listen to what this baby was saying? And I believe that it's so popular because I think that her story is one that a lot of us can relate to, unfortunately. So that was the live freestyle. I'm also going to show, I guess at this point, let me mute this. It looks as if she did a like a video for her channel. And I even tried to go back and see what else she has going on. And this just seems like, again, when PJ is saying it seems as if this was on her heart, it really does seem as if she had a moment and just of stream consciousness. But for me, I wonder how many women and or men understand and asking like what's the point? And that's what this series is really going to be about, is how do we address the hurt, the harm, and what's the point? If you're here, the point is typically no test, no testimony. So the point may be your testimony to try to help heal other people. The point may be you breaking generational curses. The point may be you shining a light on cultural issues that sometimes we tend to like push back, versus saying like, hey, this is an issue. We need to address this. We need to do better for ourselves, each other, and definitely for the next generation. So I'm going to show where she went, and it looks like she's probably in her area. I do see where it says that she's from Mississippi, and that's a whole nother thing. But really listen to what this baby is saying, and then look and see how young she looks, and look and think about some of the content that we take in. We have a lot of people that will say, oh, the young girls sound as bitter as the older women. Take that point of reference and then listen to what this baby is saying, and then maybe it will make more sense. So we're going to go back and present. I'm going to share the screen.
Hey, I don't even know.
Turn that shit up, man.
I don't even know what I might do. Hold up. I might just flash out on my pappy for that whole shit that he did. How you fucking on my mama but couldn't take care of your kids? What's the point of calling you daddy when you never was a father? And what's the point of reaching out when a nigga ain't never even bothered? But what's the point of me talking? I picked the same kind of BD, but what's the point of him being 32 fucking me at 17? What's the point of being mad? They just gon' label you as fast, cause you know dope boys not pedophiles long as they get a bag. So what's the point of being sad? You better off not giving a fuck. They be screaming they hate P. Diddy, but still love they uncles. What's the point of keeping secrets if he a threat to all the nieces? And why y'all hurting all the angels so you can protect all the demons? What's the point of even lying? You get caught up every time. What's the point of your relationship if y'all ass ain't even trying? How we glorifying murders, then we be shocked when niggas die? Like, what's the point? Are we down with catching bodies or we not? What's the point with getting it right when that shit still gon' go left? What's the point of having fam if you can't ask them for help? What's the point of joining the game if you still feel by yourself? What's going on in the hood? These niggas done started doing mail. What's the point, nigga? You used to be a boss, now you a junkie, nigga? You used to barber jump shots, didn't make no points, nigga. So what's the point, nigga? Nigga, what's the point? I'm at the point of no return. I need a mind to hear my lunch. What's the point of selling dope if you ain't gon' save the money? What's the point of having a baby to keep a nigga? You a dummy. What's the point of even asking? No, you can't get nothing from it. What's the point of baby wife? In case a bomb try to touch me. Hold on, heartbeat, I'm going back in. What's the point of tomorrow when I'm right here today? And what's the point of me having it if I can't have it my way? Say, what's the point of let them hate? Cause they gon' do it anyway. I got something heavy on my neck, but today a light day. I'm heating up in this bitch, I might just be a microwave. I just beat up another bitch, I'm starting to feel like Johnny Cage. Hold up. Let me go back in. What's the point of hearing my phone if you ain't gonna get an answer? And what's the point of playing real when we all know you an actor? And what's the point of having a pastor if he lying more than us? And what's the point of enemies when it's your friends you can't trust? Say, what's the point, bitch? Stop blaming everybody for your dumb shit. Take some accountability for all your nonsense. But that's just the point, bitch. Bitches don't make no sense. Bitches ain't getting no dollars. Bitches ain't getting no sense. What's the point, nigga? Tell me what's the point, hey? What's the point, nigga? Tell me what's the point, hey? Hey. That's all I got.
So that in and what's the point? That baby is far too young to be saying what's the point. Um, she talked about a lot of things that too many of us are very familiar with. I dropped the link down already. Somebody test it out so I can see if it works. Because, child, like I said, this is a figure it out as we go. This is going to be a series of when hurt people, or when women are wounded and how they may present and show up. It's going to be hard for you to get the very best friend, mate, spouse, homie, mother. The source of pain that she is talking about is far too familiar with a lot of women. And we need to figure out that once we can associate the pain, how do we fix it? So one of the things that we're going to do is I do want us to read the 4 agreements together. And the reason why is when you learn not to take things personal, if someone has violated you, that was a them thing. There's nothing that you did that made them violate you. It is seriously a sickness on their part, and you are a victim. And I think that we need to maybe stop trying to victim shame in the sense of, oh, we're all victims. There are some people who have been terribly violated and they are victims. You can learn the process, you can learn to work through it, but we don't get to minimize things that have happened to people because it makes us uncomfortable, or pop culture has tried to like catch onto the word, i.e. demure. Demure is always meant demure, but once somebody kind of popularizes it, we feel like, oh, well, we can't use that word anymore. It's like, no, that was that child's freestyle. I think if you are a man and or a woman, you may want to tap into your family. You might be surprised who can relate to what this young lady was talking about. So for the what's the point, I really want her to understand that her point in that is how she opened up, how she shared, how she really just spoke her heart, and how many people are going to relate to that. But once you relate, then the next step is, what do we do with that information? What do you do when you can relate to being violated? The first thing I think is just acknowledging that something horrible happened. The next step would be trying to address, and I'd like to tell people to like write letters, a burn letter. Definitely, if it is triggering you, please seek out counsel. Again, there is something in our culture that we try to act as if a person gets professional help, that they're either weak or something is wrong with them. There are some situations that are so complex and so damaging that you need to have somebody walk those steps out with you. And if you don't necessarily feel comfortable with, we'll say, a therapist, then maybe you have a friend or a church, or even if you look online. Now, I'm going to plug my girl. I know a lot of people can be like, what? If you go to a Meg the Stallion's Bad Bitches Have Bad Days Too, it actually is a mental health site of where she gives information as far as counselors. She gives some tips out. It's extremely resourceful, and I'll make sure that I drop it down in the links. So I've sent the link out, and if somebody wants to come up, it would really help me want to make sure that I did this okay. Make sure, just can somebody even just hit the link so I can see what will happen, because I have no idea how to add y'all while you're here. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna, yeah, I'll put the link in. I'm gonna stop the cam. I'm gonna hit Okay. So here's the link for Meg. And I'll share the screen again. And this is one of those things where, so we had a lot of people, and I'm going to say I was one of the people. I was very upset with the Kamala mess. And what upset me the most is knowing that she had a platform that she could have tapped into that was more beneficial and could have helped people. So for her to have, hey PJ, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna be up here for long, but I just, you know what I'm saying, I'm just coming through to show my support and
Oh,
make sure that the link work and everything, you know what I'm saying?
thank you. Thank you. So thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm going to share the screen really quick because when you said you didn't know that, I don't think a lot of people are aware of how many people that have like initiatives that can help people, but because we tend to kind of latch on to the lowest denominator or trying to make a person out to not be as complex. So if you look right here, you have bad bitches have bad days too. There's Meg. And if you listen to her album Traumazine,
Hmm.
she talks about like the first you see anxiety. She just goes over a bunch of different things. And she's a person that, much like how this young lady is going to be dismissed because some people don't like her or feel like she's over sexualized. We essentially, and I say we as a community, there were a lot of people that kind of dismiss this girl getting shot. So, and it's not just for women. If you look, you have therapy for Black girls,
Wow, this is
therapy for
amazing.
Black men. These are actual Black therapists, and it's all over the United States. She has some mental information, mental wellness, the alliance that you can get in, melanin and mental health. So this is a fantastic resource that I don't think a lot of people are really aware of. And it says bounce back like bad bitches always do. And I know that
Wow.
sometimes that word is a bit for some people triggering, but I think we also know that a lot of times, not only Black women, but Black men have to be so resilient and we have to quote unquote bounce back when in reality the what would serve us better is if we can kind of take a time off. Hey, Dr. G, let me see.
Wow, that's amazing. I had no clue. This is great.
Do you
Like,
see? So
wow.
it's an amazing resource. I'm so glad Dr. G is here because we have a wellness professional. So, Dr. G, what do you think about the song and what do you think about the topic?
Hey there, can you hear me all right?
Yes, ma'am. I hear you. I hear you.
All right. Hey PJ, nice to see you again.
Hey,
Um,
Happy New
I
Year to
think
you.
what you too, you all too. Well, the song is compelling. You know, I like rap music and I like when the sisters able to get up there and do their thing, especially when they're talking about topics that are, near and dear to them. You know what I mean? I'm not so sensitive that I can't hear the message, right? So I get it. It's probably a source of therapy for some of the sisters too, right? To be able to write and then share their experiences via their music. So I appreciate it. I didn't know anything about the site. And so I too am going to take note of that and begin to share it on my platform. So yeah, I think that's cool. I should have known though, because Megan she's an intelligent woman. I know we see one aspect of her in terms of her music and her artistry that way. But she's an intelligent woman and she's pretty, insightful in terms of how much she knows about distress and depression and different things that she's gone through. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
and
yeah, I could appreciate that.
even before the incident, she's somebody's mic is open. I'm sorry, or like your I don't know if we're in the background, but even before the incident happened, she actually went to school for medical services. She's always said that she wanted to open up homes because of the relationship that she had with her grandmother, and she understood that there's a place for either elder care or women or men that need constant care. So her degree is actually in medical health and in management. She's always said that once she's done, I guess, quote unquote, rapping, that's really where her heart is. That's really where the ministry is. And I think what she's doing is collecting enough funds so that, say she wants to have one hospital or one home that's completely, she furnishes it, she pays for everything, but she is definitely, hey Josh, she is way more complex and smart than what is made out. Oftentimes we want to just say she's very sexualized. And I can say, like, I am a Meg Thee Stallion fan. I love Tina Snow. I can even say I have never been more upset than when I saw her and doing that Kamala stuff. I was just like, what in the double hockey sticks is this? Specifically knowing that she had this site, specifically knowing that not only did she have the site, that she could have talked about trauma, being a victim, working through things. It just felt like a really missed opportunity, because we don't often see a bunch of Black women talking about being harmed or how she got around that. She talks about she has anxiety. She will cry all the time. And a lot of people don't even understand that the level of trauma that she experienced, because she went from losing her grandmother to losing her father to losing her mother to then being shot to losing a best friend to being essentially bullied, to the point to we never see 50 Cent apologize to anybody. And he came and apologized. And that shows that there was a vast amount of abuse that she received from her own community. Josh, how you doing?
I'm good. I brought my can of gasoline. Want to set something on fire? You know me.
Okay, so let's let Dr. G respond in a mindful way, and
No,
then
I
you
was
can
just,
throw your gasoline.
yeah, and I'll just be brief. I was just going to say, yeah, I remember her talking about her aspirations to have a mental health clinic after rap, or even, just as another goal. I don't know exactly what she said, but I do remember that. And so that to me, resonated as intelligent and, pretty progressive in her thinking about her community and the different things that are going on there. So, yeah, I'm going to drop Tiff. I just wanted to again show my support. And I wanted to make sure your work. PJ beat me to it, but it's all good.
Thank you, Dr. G. I'm sure Josh is going to start all the fires. I want to thank both of y'all. I do think that this may be something that, because Thursday night is not anything where, hemp is streaming, because I never want to, what I'm saying, cross connect. But I do want for us to talk about different things. Dr. G, please make sure you put your link in, because again, those of us that need to girl you better, we need some advice. We do have it, y'all, within our own community. We have some resources that we need to utilize and tap into, and never be too proud or too ashamed to reach out for help, because that's how we stay stuck. That either our ego has us so puffed up that we feel like, oh, well, it doesn't make me. It's like, that's a level of delusion. Or you are so filled with shame that you feel like whatever happened to you, you deserved it, and there's nothing that you can do to have redemption. Get with a professional that can walk you through some things so that you can get right esteemed and live your best life.
For sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, y'all. I'll be in the chat.
Thank you for joining. All right, Josh, you're here to start trouble. What's your trouble?
I think I'm of the view that too many people focus on trauma, the past bad experiences. It seems like everybody's kind of like living from We're on YouTube, so
Mhm.
we're pretty much stuck on too much of the bull crap from the past.
Mhm.
Nobody ever wants to go anywhere. They just want to sit in the past and rest in their victimization. They can't talk about anything else. They can't do anything else. They just hyper focus on it. I think generally speaking, the vast majority of people need to do something. I don't care if you go out and just walk around the block or something, right? Just do something. The idea of focusing on this trauma crap has gone way too far.
So let me ask you this. Being two people of a particular age, there
No,
was
ma'am. No, ma'am. I am not in your age bracket. No, ma'am.
how old are you?
I'm 18.
Oh, okay. Well, at 18,
I'm almost 40. No, I'm a little over 40.
Okay, so
Yeah.
sir, we are definitely in the same age bracket. I am gonna say this. I know for those of us that got told things like sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I think that is the worst statement ever, 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 ever. It is one of the most harmful things. And I'll say this, and then you let me know. Do you remember the first horrible thing somebody said to you, or do you remember like the first fight that you had?
I would assume, no, I wouldn't remember my first fights. I wouldn't remember the first words ever spoken to me. No, I would have
I
been.
didn't say first ever. I'm saying, do you recall? Have you ever had a fight at school, or did
Hell
you?
yeah, I'm a scrawny guy. That's all I did was fight.
So all you did was fight. So was there somebody that just was always, you always had to hit them and do whatever?
Yeah, matter of fact, my first crush was a girl by the name of Rhonda Morris, right? She whooped my ass all the damn time.
You know what? You just not gonna play fair. So
I'm never gonna play fair.
Not only did Rhonda beat you up, did she say mean things to you?
Yeah.
What
You
she
called
say?
it puppy love back then, though.
So even in that though, and we'll have a conversation about it. I despise the fact that we teach young people that he's picking on you so he likes you. Oh, he pushed you off of the swing. Oh, he hit you in the shoulder. Oh, he likes you. You are establishing that abuse is love at a very young age. And then we have to look at how that is like all over and over and over. We're going to end up talking about the Disneyfication that teaches young girls struggle love. And then someone as yourself that can call in and say, like, I think we deal with trauma too little. And it's like, but do we though? Do you hear some people that you might be exhausted with the term because you've never had to face that there's some people out here that are harmed and hurt and they need healing?
You mean the small minority group of utter social failures? Yeah, there's a few of them.
What do you mean by utter social failures?
Well, generally speaking, we measure people by their successes, whether it be like their goal is based on like a family, whether it be career, that kind of thing, right? But you're either going to make it or you're going to break, one or the other. So the people that tend to break and fall down in the ditch, why should we focus on them? They're losers at the end of the day.
Can I ask you a
So
question?
I'll stand on my bully tactics. What's up? Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe that the incoming president is one of sound mental health and without trauma?
No, do I think, are you asking like, do I think that Trump could pass a psychological screening? Yes, absolutely. And he already has. Do I think he's going to do things the way people want him to? Absolutely not. I'm kind of hoping he's going to come in like a bull in a china shop right into the GOP and clean it out. We need a good criminal.
You don't believe a lot of his behavior, a lot of the way that he treats is not because of the way that his father treated him and or his mother, that they were very judgy, they were very hard. The way that he responds to stress or people that don't like him is much like a child that's lashing out because he never got the support that he needed as a young man. So is he able to produce? Absolutely so. But can we both be honest and say that a lot of the
He
way that he responds is a trauma response. And the fact that he's the leader of the free world and he will eventually have the keys to the nuke, that's a bit concerning. You can say he can come in like a bull with a china, but we also can be very honest and say that there's clearly some things
so
that are going on there.
you want a leader to be like all touchy feely, nice words kind of thing, or do you want a brutal jerk that's going to run over any opposition that he's going to have throughout the planet, basically? Do you want him to sit around and sing Kumbaya, or do you want him to basically swing a big stick around, scare the living crap into behaving, or at least in some form working with us, if not for any other reason other than the concern of getting hit with a stick?
So you don't believe that a person can be right esteemed, right thinking, and be an effective leader?
I've worked in State Department for I guess since I was 19. I would say that I haven't actually done the job that I've done since 22, 23, almost 40 now. That's not how we deal in diplomacy. We deal with leverage, quite literally running around with threats. That's how the world operates. I would assume that that's kind of the same way that dynamics of different groups work too.
Tell me more.
Okay, so I don't deal on the political scale. I deal more on the business scale.
Yes.
Generally speaking, let's say a U.S. citizen wants to do business in a foreign land, right? Depending on what industry they're in, the vast majority of them are regulated. You actually are obligated to get permission from State Department to work with another company and the entities that represent it. So there's like basically a bunch of screening. So DOS will piggyback on top of it, where they're trying to get leverage on top of that country and that business, as well as the citizen, in this case, the U.S. citizen that's trying to do it. It's all done via leverage. It's pretty much, you're going to do the things the way we want them done, or we'll just destroy any part of this business deal that could ever happen. And this is how the world operates. It's the same way within one group or another. Like, we sit down and think that the world is going to operate in this. We're going to sit around and sing Kumbaya and we all love one another. But at the end of the day, it ain't even remotely close to that.
So is there not a medium where we don't have to be Kumbaya, but we also can acknowledge that we want a person that is balanced in the sense of how you respond to certain situations? And I get what you're saying. I don't know if that's the most diplomatic way to go through things.
Depends on the goal that you want.
And we can say that, but bringing it back to, did you see the video of what the young lady was saying?
No, I missed the video.
Okay, so I'm gonna rerun it because I have a feeling that we're going to end up having probably to come through this a couple times, because this is actually going to be a series. I'm going to play it, and I want you to keep in mind that this was a freestyle, right? So let me get to the screen sharing. Thank y'all, the people that are here. I did put the link down. Anybody can come up and talk. Dr. G's been up. PJ's been here. Josh, our troublemaker, is all up in the house. So there are two different videos. If I go to my history, and I appreciate y'all allowing me to kind of figure this out on the fly.
God, leave it up to women to try to figure out how to push buttons around here.
Yeah, no, I didn't have you available to make me look smart. So I'm going to blame you because, you should have been here for me, white man.
No, I understand. I understand how it works, right? Blame the white man. I got it. I'm a big fan of the trouble.
And the man. I mean, you're a man. So, I mean, clearly it's your fault, right?
Well, so see, now things get a little different, right? Like, once you put the man thing in there, it's kind of like, well, what do I get for helping a woman? She ain't do nothing but cause me problems. At least
you get peace. You get peace. We're peaceful.
I've been married 7 years. Peace is the last word that I'm going to toss in there. I don't know. What kind of Disney film crap is?
Oh my gosh, and PJ
Yeah.
started laughing. Wow. Wow. We're going to share the screen and we're going to look in. Yeah, we're just going to push play because absolutely, yeah, we playing in my face.
Beef or better. Queen of the silk. Hey,
Turn that shit up, man.
hey, what's the motherfucking point, man? Hey, hold on. I might just flash out on my peppin' for that whole shit that he did. How you fucking on my mama, but couldn't take care of your kids? What's the point of calling you daddy when you never was a father? And what's the point of reaching out when a nigga ain't ever even bothered? So what's the point of me talking? I picked the same kind of BD. What's the point of him being 32, fucking me at 17? But what's the point of being sad? They just gon' label you as fast, cause you know dope boys not pedophiles long as they get in the bag. So what's the point of being mad? You better off not giving a fuck. They be screaming they hate P. Diddy, but still love they uncles. What's the point of keeping secret if he a threat to all the nieces? And why y'all hurting all the angels so you can protect all the demons? What's the point of even lying? You get caught up every time. What's the point of your relationship if y'all ass ain't even trying? How we glorifying murders, then we be shocked when niggas die? Like what's the point? Are we down with catching bodies or we not? Like what's the point of getting it right when that shit still gonna go left? What's the point of having fam if you can't ask them for help? What's the point of joining the game if you still feel by yourself? What's going on in the hood? These niggas done started doing meth. What's the point, nigga? You used to be a boss, now you a junkie, nigga? You used to barber jump shop, didn't make no point, nigga. So what's the point, nigga? Nigga, what's the point? At the point of no return, I need a man till I lunch. What's the point of selling dope if you ain't gon' save the money? What's the point of having a baby to keep a nigga? You a dummy. What's the point of even asking? No, you can't get nothing from me. What's the point of baby wife in case a bomb try to touch me? Hey, I'm going back in. What's the point of tomorrow when I'm right here today? And what's the point of me having if I can't have it my way? Say, what's the point of letting them hate? Cause they gon' do it anyway. So what's the point of all these questions? Sound like you investigate. I got some heavy on my neck, but today a light day. I'm heating up in this bitch. I might just be a microwave. I just beat up another bitch. I'm starting to feel like Johnny Cage. What's the point of hearing my phone if you ain't gonna get an answer? What's the point of playing real when we all know you an answer? And what's the point of having a pastor if he lying more than us? And what's the point of enemies when it's your friends you can't trust? So what's the point, bitch? Stop blaming everybody for your dumb shit. Take some accountability for all your nonsense. But that's just the point, shit. Bitches don't make no sense. Bitches ain't get no dollars. Bitches ain't get no sense. What's the point, bitch? Tell me what's the point? Hey, be for better, queen of the silk. Hey, yeah, there goes. Hey, what's the point, bitch? Yeah.
I don't like her hair.
What did you say?
I said I like her hair.
Okay. What about what she said, sir?
What, song lyrics? The hell am I supposed to care about damn song lyrics? Matter of fact, a better question would be, why in the heck would society sit down and listen to song lyrics and try their damnedest to relate to it? It'd be the same problem if people were growing forward and say, oh, well, I'm going to get on Facebook, right? I'm going to listen to everybody else's stories and let it have some effect on my life. Go about your business. Do what you got to do.
You don't find it odd that this young lady did a freestyle and this is what she talked about? And mind you, you are a guest in the culture. What I will say is a lot of what she said, there are a lot of women and or young women that can relate. And the fact that that was a freestyle, and what we're doing right now, this is actually going to be a series, because initially I just wanted us just to kind of hear the song and just kind of digest everything that she's saying. She legitimately said, she talked about the relationship with her mother. And she said, what's the point of being mad if I got the same baby daddy? Then she says, I'm 17 and you 32 effing on me. What's the point? So she's talking about generational curses. she's talking about there's some incest or SA going on.
Going through this cycle, yeah.
Not only going through the cycle, but we keep trying to talk about having people show up better and be better, but they're, I don't want to say children of trauma. I will say that there has been some traumatic things that have happened. And we have to be honest, where you may feel like it's talked about too much, but we have to also acknowledge that when a person has a trauma experience, that many times the brain is rewired. So it's not just in the sense of, oh, everybody wants to be a victim, versus understanding that there's something culturally that we need to address and take care of. And when I say culturally, I mean as in America, and how even in the sense of Elvis Presley and his wife, what's his name, Jerry Lee Lewis and his wife. Let me finish.
I need a clarification on what's the expected goal. What is your desired goal? What is your desired outcome out of it?
So I'd like for us to understand that some of the behavior that we see being demonstrated, it may be uncouth because it is coming from a traumatic place. And if we can say, hey, let's work through this, and as you say, push through and keep going, I think that that's far better than people that push things down and don't really acknowledge why they are operating in particular ways. I'm for sure, and you're both men, so maybe I'd love to get the point of view in the sense of I do not think that men and women are given the same space to quote unquote be a victim. Is that a true statement?
Yes, as a man, you're not allowed to be a victim. You'll get shamed for it. But that's part of man culture.
So it is a default that doesn't serve y'all, but y'all have created.
I don't know if we created it. You kind of never known it to be anything else. We'll put it that way. So where its origin comes from.
Wouldn't it be men?
It probably could be, but again, like you go back to like say Mesopotamia, go back to your records, right? Things were different, weird that we don't really comprehend. So the origin, we have no clue. At least culturally speaking.
So
right?
let's say in today's world, do you feel as if other men allow men to be victims and or vulnerable?
No, and nor do we want it to be.
Why is that?
Well, because I want to have a clear distinction between the behaviors of men and women. Women can sit around cry all they want. Nobody really cares. Man does it, we're going to shame them because there is an expectation of productivity. You can fall off your bicycle. You can skin your knee, but you had best get back up on that bicycle. One of the most useful tools of getting that done is shaming.
Yeah, as a man, like if you fall into like the victim mode and you want to sit in that makes you weak because as men, like we're supposed to, excuse me, like rise above and keep progressing. You know what I mean? So yeah, I concur.
You could call it toxic, Miss Tiff, if you wanted to. Just for us, we consider it reality.
I don't want to call it toxic if that is how men have decided to engage with each other. I do think it's problematic. And I
don't know about that's the problem, like the decision part. Nobody decides how life turns out, right? We just play the game to the best of our abilities.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. We don't even really focus on what the world ought to be.
I don't know if I agree with that because you will have people like the Archie Bunker of it all of this is how it should look, this is how it should be. And I think that even when we talk about different characters in TV shows, those are archetypes of personalities that people can relate to. So when I say I, as a woman, don't feel that it's my place to say, like, if this is how men decide how other men show up, that within the group of men is a standard. I don't always think that it's the healthiest. And I definitely don't think that it's a way to progress. Now, do I understand, like, you don't want to do like busting out in tears? There's a time and a place for everything.
Oh, you best not cry in public as a man. Best not do it.
What does that mean? Don't cry in public.
It means if you as a man decide you're going to break down in tears in public, we are going to basically ridicule you to no end.
Why?
Because men ought not cry in public.
Why?
If you're going to do it, go home, go behind a closed door and do it. Do not do it in public.
Why?
Because we uphold a standard as men, and
Is
it
it
ain't
helpful?
weakness. Yeah, men are not allowed to be weak.
No, I said, is it helpful?
Yes.
How?
Do you want a society of weak men crying in public, or do you want at the very least, the appearance that men around you in society are strong?
Do we know that if in mass men were able to show their emotions, that would be negative? Do we know that?
Yeah. Yes,
How?
it is.
How?
Yes, it is the case that if a society of men appears weak, it becomes a target from outside sources, whether it be from another country, whether it be from another group of people, that kind of thing. You have to appear strong, as in a concept of a way of kind of like projecting enough power to, hey, if you decide you want to come in and cause problems with us, we'll at least fight back. But if you have a bunch of...
That sounds delusional.
Well, what do you mean? That's actually the reality of how the world operates.
Are we in a good space as the world?
Well, I don't know about good, right? It depends on the goal. Bad and good are relative.
So in saying that, and saying that perhaps if men were allowed to have a full human experience, in the sense of sometimes you cry, sometimes you don't, sometimes you're sad, sometimes you're not, and acknowledging that this is another human being with emotional feelings, that there are times that it is appropriate for a man to be emotional. Now, let me preface it with this. I think a lot of times y'all don't want to cry, but you're okay with a man being violent as a response of an emotion.
Yes, because violence is productivity. Oh, you don't like it, but that is exactly how societies are created. This is how empires are built, through violence. Crying, not productive. Violence, very productive. We even go as far as to worship it. Oh yeah, you thought the Roman gladiators? Yes, society loves it. We love the violent blood sport competitions.
Rome fell?
Everything falls. You can't name a single empire that hasn't fallen. We will eventually fall too.
Never.
You think the U.S. empire is never going to fall? That would be delusional.
Definitely be. I think it's already fallen, but I was being facetious. You're
not going to at least give it like 600-700 years? Damn. You know what? I got to get your deportation papers ready. You got to go.
Absolutely not. I am indigenous. I have all of the paperwork that I need. I ain't going nowheres.
Oh, we remove people. Even citizens, we do remove people. We just put them in cages.
I'm finna say, you might put me in one of them internment camps, but you ain't gonna be able to send me though.
Oh yeah, we actually have internment camps off U.S. soil too.
So you really see no value in a man being able to express emotion?
Yeah, it's useful, or it's useless to us in our world.
It depends on the setting. I would say that.
What do you give me more? What do you mean?
So I would say like when a man's like alone with his woman and like so what a man like when we express our emotions or like we're sad or gotta cry or whatever, it has to be something extreme like somebody close to you dying or whatever. But when it comes to like the more like intricate things that may like affect us, that's when you're like alone with your woman and like nobody else is around where it's a safe space to express those things with your woman and she nurtures you kind of thing.
So you're saying, as a man, you value being able to have a partner that can acknowledge where you are emotionally and being able to be supportive and or a comfort.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't you think that women benefit from the same thing for men?
Um, yeah, again, I think it depends on like the setting, you know what I mean? Like I think like out in public, if a man's being like overly emotional,
Mhm.
that's not a good setting for that moment. But in those
What's
moments
over,
where
what's overly emotional? Let me ask you a question. Do you think that Kanye West is emotional?
yeah, I would say he is, yeah.
Do you
Did he cry
think,
in public?
cut it out. Do you think, okay, let me ask you this. You're okay with emotion as long as it's tied to some type of success. So you are okay if you're crying because you knock somebody out and you win the belt, or you're okay with people crying after winning the Super Bowl or the Stanley Cup, or what is it in baseball? What do they win? Josh, come on, what's the prize they get?
Why you gotta ask the white man about baseball? Gee, man.
Well, it's not because y'all are dominant. You've never been dominant. Like,
Not in baseball and football, not in basketball, not in any American sport, to be honest with you. Does golf count? Oh no, y'all got Tiger Woods, right? He came in and actually saved the damn sport because economically it was going to crap till he
sports that
popped
are
in.
very expensive, i.e., lacrosse, i.e., boating. Those are the things
I thought
economically.
lacrosse was like rich white boys in university
So,
specifically.
as I said, lacrosse, boating, things that financially you can suppress a particular demographic, y'all tend to do very well in those.
Yeah, lacrosse isn't economically productive. Football is. Basketball is. Baseball might be. I don't know. I think the NBL's taking a hit. I
Row
don't
club,
know.
but row club,
Huh?
um,
Ru-
row
ru-
row club, row like
You know, like those idiots in the boats that are like the Ivy League school. Yeah, no, those are no. These are all
you should
sissy
love
sports.
that. Isn't that typing into like your
Uh,
Viking experience?
yes, I went to Cornell. They had that. Those are still
You went to
sissies.
Cornell?
Yes, unfortunately.
You know what? We're not doing that today. So
I was
let me
surrounded
just
by
say this.
girls.
OG Do Dirty, thank you for saying hit the like. I should have said that, y'all. Hit the like button, comment, subscribe. Thank you for being here this evening. This is just the beginning. I'm super excited. It's January the 2nd, and I kept my commitment to myself. We're talking about what's the point. The rapper's name is Be Better, and she really, on a freestyle, opened up some things that I've found to be absolutely compelling. Josh, being our resident troll, is saying that he doesn't either see the value or didn't see the connection, because it's like everybody wants to be associated with trauma. What I am saying is there are a number of people who have been hurt, harmed, or are operating in hurt from things that happened to them as young people, or when she's saying she was 17 and her child's father was 32. There are a lot of situations that are too familiar with certain demographics, and then we wonder why we're not getting the best out of people, because just from jump the establishment of the relationships are just not balanced.
I
But
do think we get the best out of people. That's how we're productive. Our society kicks the crap out of most other societies, globally speaking. Western society is on top of the world.
So we're having a conversation about if a 17-year-old that was abused now has a child by a 32-year-old, what is her mothering skills going to look like, Josh? Just being very realistic. What do you think?
Probably is most
she has a
likely
kid?
is crappy is what she came from.
Go ahead, PJ.
Oh no, I didn't know that she had a kid by the 36. Like, wow.
So this, and we'll listen to it one more time. She said, "What's the point of being mad at my mom if I got the same baby daddy?" So the mama was young and had a child by an older woman or older men, and now she's young having a child by an older man. So there's certain kind of like rinse and repeat cycles that the outcome on not only that family, but what people do not understand, and Josh, this is what I'm talking about, in the sense of, I'm gonna go ahead and guess that her children are gonna go to a public school. So they're gonna matriculate and have access to people that may have two-parent homes. You're going to have a level of dysfunction. They might be entered into public areas because we don't say that this is inappropriate. And mind you, yesterday, just in talking to a hint with his wife and listening to that conversation, and then the conversation that was had on Monday with Aaron and Fantastic, a lot of times when you hear people talk and they will reference like their grandparents or great grandparents, a lot of people don't acknowledge that these people were getting married as teenagers. My great grandmother got married at 14 because my grandfather said 13 was too young. So they'd already had the arrangement. They already knew what was going to happen. She was 14, he was 22. And
my father was married at 14.
So you see what I'm saying? Like, the fact that we need to just acknowledge that adolescence has been pushed way longer, and adultification to the point to where we'll say, what, well, the brain is not fully developed until 25. Well, our grandparents at 25 might have had 10 or 11 children.
Yeah, but isn't that what women want?
What do you mean?
Well, so who's predominantly leading the educational fields?
I think women are now, but I don't agree with, because women are able to have education, that the society is taking a toll. I think that if you have to oppress people in order for you to be productive, it says more about who you are and how you present and the work that you're willing to do versus the people that have the opportunity to now kind of even out some of the things. So for me, and I know that you're a sexist and you're not going to agree, and I'm not a feminist anyway, but I do find it very much, God, what's the show where they're like, blessed be the fruit, the handmaiden. It's giving handmaiden's tales, that a lot of men don't want to have to compete because they believe that just by proxy of having a member in some balls, that they were going to have a leadership position, and or because they presented a particular way, they were going to be able to boss people around. I think the best person for the job is there, but I'm not insane. I'm not going to look at a woman to come over and be trying to lift up books and different stuff like that. Like, I'm sure she can, and I'm sure we could figure it out. But there is something to be said about strength, not brute strength, but just strength and different. So the body's just made different. So I'm not that's it.
So is the industry. So like what, 30% of males go to further education, aka university degree, right?
That's
They're not
now
do what? Yeah, that's now. That's today.
because women couldn't go to college. Like
No,
that's
no,
the
no.
thing.
What I'm saying is
Why are y'all
70
mad about a system that you developed and women can
because
come in
it's
and
not
be
a
successful?
thing that we desire. Men don't go to university because they're focused highly on productivity. So the idea is to go out, get a job, run that job for as long as it takes to get into whatever's needed to basically take off and do your own business. That's the ideal situation that goes through, right?
That sounds really nice, but are we going to be honest and say a lot of times when people are going to college, just the education is a part of it, but most of anything specifically for men, it was a network place where you could build up a network, build up alumni, build up connections so that as you went out and developed businesses and did different things that you would operate within certain systems because you guys had a common thread, i.e. college, the same frat or whatever. Now at this point, because women have been able to come into these environments and be very successful, it is almost as if, oh, well, that doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything for men. It might mean something for women, right? But for us, it's not really that significant.
So going back to what this young lady was talking about with education, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think a person that is pregnant by 17 by a 32-year-old, is she going to have the opportunity to get that same type of education?
I hope not.
What's the hope not for?
Well, so, okay. So the difference between me and say the vast majority of Hamp's crowd, right? I ain't trying to save everybody.
I don't know. We're not going to mention other content creators.
Okay. So the difference in being is I have no reason or justification to try to save everybody. So here would be the example. If you come from a failed family, I consider you go to the back of the bus, for lack of a better phrasing. You are generally going to, or at least statistically speaking, why would we want to put more resources to fix you? Leave them at the back of the bus and accept the other people, aka people that would have come from better families or at least functioning families, and promote them. Let the bad die out on its own. So you're going to have to come up with a decent argument as to why we should waste resources on broken people.
Waste resources.
Yes.
So do you consider the Kennedys a successful family? You don't have to like them.
Much, yeah.
Talking about success.
Pretty much, yes.
Bootleggers. Okay.
I don't have qualms with bootleggers.
Well, here's the thing: when you're saying let the people in the back be at the bottom at one point, one, because they were Catholics and also because the father was a bootlegger, they were not considered to be people of character. They were considered to be people to be at the back of the bus. So when we pick and choose who we think should have success, you may have a Kennedy type of situation in where somebody is able to really progress the American story in a major way.
I don't generally consider
it's not a general. It is just we can't take that hard stance.
No.
Because of Ronald Reagan, came from where Bill Clinton came from. It would be the case
that generally speaking, the upper class are going to have a lot more debauchery. The reason why they have that debauchery is because they have access to it. We don't care about the character.
So essentially what you're saying, as long as you're born into a family with wealth, you don't care what kind of personality.
We care about the productivity. You also need the bad to actually justify the good. So let's say
no. Hold on. We're not gonna do that. You believe that Don Jr. is productive?
Yes.
Please tell me how.
He quite literally owns a multi-million-dollar corporation. He employs I think roughly, I think it's like
I'm
18,000.
not talking about Trump. I'm talking about the son.
Yes. Trump doesn't own that. He had to actually forward off his business. He cannot legally own the businesses he owns and be president.
So he had to forward it to who? The son that's a
How
damn
did,
alcoholic. Cut it out. You're
yes,
not
the
doing this, guys.
same way, hold up. The same way that basically generational welfare or generational wealth
No, you said
works.
it. That was a Freudian slip, but you said it. Generational welfare. Because you don't pay what you're supposed to
Well,
on
no,
tax.
generational welfare would
Do
be on the
not do
other
what you're
side.
supposed to do. And because your family owns a butt ton
Yes.
of money, you don't necessarily have to be a good person. You just have access by proxy of your parents being into.
I stated that character doesn't particularly matter. We focus on productivity. Even bad people are productive, and they also generate services or like, for example, let's say bootlegging. Use that concept. So the 1920s, the bootleggers, right? This opened the door for effectively mobsters, right? But those mobsters ended up creating a lot of resources to it just because they had to be fought for doing something illegal.
So much beneficial to they had to create the RICO Act.
Yeah, RICO Act is absolutely awesome.
Because why?
Because at the end of the day, you want a system to rotate through the government, aka you want something that's going to say, hey, look, if you're going to sit on your property and you're not going to maintain it, or you're going to break rules, right? You want an easier service to actually come in and lay claim to it. It's part of the game.
Yeah, I'm just not even gonna touch that right now because you're detracting from the conversation that we're talking about in the sense of seeing
It's
trauma.
economically beneficial.
It is, but we are talking about trauma, kids, generational curses, and now the capacity to get out of poverty. If there's all of this trauma, all of this damage, the likelihood of that person being able to come out of that trauma cycle is very, very low. Now, for yourself, you don't see the benefit in it. For others like myself, I do see the benefit of when people are able to, and I don't like the bootstraps thing at all. I don't do that at all. But if there is a person that is able to benefit off their talent and or it helps themselves and their family be successful, then that's a good thing. But the other thing is you have got to acknowledge that if people are downtrodden and full of trauma, the level of them being successful is not super, super high. You are a rarity. You're a minority.
Right.
So we can't in America establish a system that if we want to say, liberty for all and justice, then also you have to acknowledge that if a person, again, is coming from a depraved situation, specifically in talking about what this young lady is saying, where she is a product of a teen mom who becomes a teen mom by a person that is a full-fledged adult, that is something that needs to be addressed and resolved. Because the Romeo and Juliet law, that makes sense because these are two people within the same kind of 5-year gap. But a 17-year-old having a child by a 32-year-old man, that man should be in jail and or paying some type of fee.
I don't disagree, but again, right? Well,
Okay.
I don't agree. I don't disagree in the concept of that age gap, right? Like that's too far.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, hold on, I'm going to put you on mute because PJ said he didn't hear. And I really want you just to listen to some of the things that she's saying. And then we're going to wind down in the next 10 minutes. But I want us to listen to all of the different things that she's saying that fundamentally should not have happened to this young lady. So let me hit. Go here. I'm gonna share.
Figure them buttons out, woman. Be that
I'm
strong, independent woman.
I'm trying. Look, I did go in the kitchen though, so you hush it.
No offense,
Oh.
but if you're paying more than 30,
Let's look at this one.
All right, we definitely gotta get YouTube Premium at some point.
I have it on my other account, but I will add it to this.
I still like your hair.
I don't even know.
Turn that shit up, man.
I don't even know what I might do. Hold up. I might just flash out on my pappy for that whole shit that he did. How you fucking on my mama but couldn't take care of your kids? What's the point of calling you daddy when you never was a father? And what's the point of reaching out when a nigga ain't never even bothered? But what's the point of me talking? I picked the same kind of BD. But what's the point of him being 32 fucking me at 17? What's the point of being mad? They just gon' label you as fast. Cause you know dope boys not pedophiles long as they get a bag. So what's the point of being sad? You better off not giving a fuck. They be screaming they hate P. Diddy, but still love they uncles. What's the point of keeping secrets if he a threat to all the nieces? And why y'all hurting all the angels so you can protect all the demons? What's the point of even lying? You get caught up every time. What's the point of your relationship if y'all ass ain't even trying? How we glorifying murders, then we be shocked when niggas die. Like what's the point? Are we down with catching bodies or we not? What's the point with getting it right when that shit still gon' go left? What's the point of having fam if you can't ask them for help? What's the point of joining the game if you still feel by yourself? What's going on in the hood? These niggas done started doing mail. What's the point, nigga? You used to be a boss, now you a junkie, nigga. You used to bob a jump shot, didn't make no points, nigga. So what's the point, nigga? Nigga, what's the point? I'm at the point of no return. I need a mind to my lunch. What's the point of selling dope if you ain't gon' save the money? What's the point of having a baby to keep a nigga? You a dummy. What's the point of even asking? No, you can't get nothing from it. What's the point of baby wife? In case a bomb try to touch me. Hold on, heartbeat, I'm going back in. What's the point of tomorrow when I'm right here today? And what's the point of me having it if I can't have it my way? Say what's the point of let them hate? Cause they gon' do it anyway. I got some heavy on my neck, but today a light day. I'm heating up in this bitch, I might just be a microwave. I just beat up another bitch, I'm starting to feel like Johnny Cage. Hold up. Let me go back in. What's the point of hearing my phone if you ain't gonna get an answer? And what's the point of playing real when we all know you an actor? And what's the point of having a pastor if he lying more than us? And what's the point of enemies when it's your friends you can't trust? Say what's the point, bitch? Stop blaming everybody for your dumb shit. Take some accountability for all your nonsense. But that's just the point, bitch. Bitches don't make no sense. Bitches ain't getting no dollars. Bitches ain't getting no cents. What's the point, nigga? Tell me what's the point, hey? What's the point, nigga? Tell me what's the point, hey? Hey. That's all I got.
So we're gonna and on CPJ probably had to drop. I want to thank him for coming up. The whole point of listening to the song and breaking it down is all of these different schisms and isms that happen. We've got to talk about what's going on with young women dealing with older men, right? We have to talk about the abuse that's happening in the family. We need to talk about how she's saying there's so many different issues that she's talking about that it's not just affecting we'll say Black America. It's culturally kind of baked in. Like I said, that's why I brought up Elvis Presley and what's the wife's name? Lisa's the daughter, right? Lisa Marie?
I think so. I'm not a big Presley fan, so I don't know.
Priscilla Presley. When he married her, she was 13. Jerry Lee Lewis married his cousin. He was maybe 11. She was very young. Very young. And it's some of the things of where a lot of times we hear men within certain spheres talk about how older women are so bitter and they have to date somebody younger because, you know, they deserve a fresh start. And it's like a lot of the things that are going on can be drilled down to what this young lady just said. And what's the point? And again, that we watched, that's a freestyle. So that's not anything she wrote out. She legitimately was at a radio station, a beat played, and that's what she shared. So for me, that level of trauma to be top of mind is something that, one, what is going on? Two, how do we address that? Because she is now a mother. Wounded people do not make the best parents. Unhealed people don't make the best parents. And because in America, most kids are, again, matriculating into public schools, they're going to end up in a work area, or we need to ensure that we're doing things to try to make the best citizens possible, but also holding people accountable for unbecoming behavior. And even you said, like, I don't agree with that. With she's 17, he's 32. And we're talking about now 2 generations, because she said, what's the point of being mad at my mother when I picked the same baby's father? So these generational isms that cause people, because again, if we want to talk about sucking off of the system, I'm sure that at some point somebody might have been getting some social services, not particularly, I don't even know how it works, that if, say you qualify for a social service, but you've never had a job. I don't know what that looks like, but if we want for people to be productive and to pay into the system and to do the right thing, then we need to establish homes that are healthy. We need to establish boundaries in which adult men are not victimizing teenagers. And then we need to address some of the things that she's talking about. Because again, if you're 19, 20 years old and your point of reference is what's the point, you're not going to have a very productive citizen. And if you want people to produce, we need to see some of the boundaries that
you still
make.
haven't explained the why part.
What do you mean? There's no
Okay.
there's no accountability. There would have been a time
Where
like
there's accountability, you're going to fail at life. That's accountability.
if
You're
that's
stuck
all
in
that
that rut.
if that's all that you know, that's all that you know. And that's the thing that I really want us to think about. Is sometimes I think, as there's a content creator that says, you know, we on YouTube, we do everything right, we have our underwear on the outside. A lot of times when people are impoverished, that's all they know. They do not know anything else, and anything outside seems like a fairy tale and or fake or unattainable.
Right. And why should the other economical classes go in and try to save them from themselves? Why?
Because we share this planet, we share this space. I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to assist and being realistic with the results, but I do not believe in saying that because you are born into an underclass that you have to permanently be there. Specifically as a Black woman, I understand that America, whether they want to say it or not, it is a caste system. And typically the people that are at the bottom of that system oftentimes look like me. So for me, I am never going to just say like, oh, well, got born into the wrong family, maybe the next time. Like, no. If you are a person that you go into the educational system, public, and you get information and you're able to make good grades and you're able to thrive, then that person should be able to either, you know, get a trade, if they want to go to college. I believe in and I don't like when people are like, that's socialism, because a lot of the things that we do is socialism based, but it only becomes a problem when poor people need those services. We don't really have issues with entitlements, but that's another topic for another day. We are going to wrap it up because today, like I said, it was just to kind of introduce the actual song, and then what I'm going to do is we're going to break down the song, like I said, where she talked about, you know, her childhood. She talked about what was the point of this, what's the point of that. We're going to take each one and see how that can affect the person's mental wellness and or health.
Do
We're
you
going
see
to
her as,
go
do
ahead.
you see her, what's her name again?
B is for better, so be better.
Oh, be
Even
better.
her name, even her name, that's somebody that she truly wants to be. Like, you don't name yourself Be Better if you don't want to be better.
Yeah, but
And that's the person saying, like, she's acknowledging. Go ahead.
I guess the issue I'm having is she's not what you claim she is.
What do you mean?
So she, sure, it might have been the case that she grew up. I don't know how much of her story is true, right? I haven't done any research on her. Don't know what it is. I will though. But
I know
what it comes down to is what she's singing about, right? Is like what people complain about in society. Got it. No problem. That's always what.
Complain or share? Complain.
Complain.
That seems a very odd terminology.
You heard me say it, right? There's a reason why social media feeds off this stuff, right? It's popularity. It works. People love victim cards. We even have grifters of victimization now. Like, that's a thing, strangely enough.
I'm not, but you know what? And you saying that, no, because, and I'm not being facetious, but the first thing I thought about is like Project 2025 and the white people talking about like, oh my God, we're victims. Look at all the things that the blacks have gotten, and white people are being downtrodden. It's just like, really, we're doing this now. So nobody is worse than Trumpers and being victims, but trying to like make it make sense. So be very, very careful. Tread lightly.
Yeah, Project 2025 is a 30-year system. It's always been that way. They just they basically.
I mean, that's heritage from America. That's 700 Club. Those of us that have seen it and known it, like, that's something that this is. Now, here's what I will say, and I let me just, I want to try to, you know what? No, we're not going to pussyfoot it.
Why you throw them? Well, first question is why you throw them on the Trumpers, but we'll go into that Discord.
Yeah, that's another time. Yeah. But what I'm going to say is this: as a conservative that voted conservatively for years and had family members that did not believe in dealing with anything with the Democratic Party at all. I get it, because a lot of times people are voting fundamentally on their morals, right?
No.
I'm saying, as a Texan, as a Black woman, I was a registered Republican for years. At this point, I'm an independent, and it's because the Republican Party that I see now is not one that I personally can connect and relate to. I think Matt Gaetz is an idiot. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is a dummy. I am a Colin Powell, a Condoleezza Rice, Daddy Bush, even a little bit of Baby Bush, of where it was conservative, but it still made sense, to now I don't believe that the people that are claiming to be Republicans, they're not. They're Trump. Like, Trump has taken over the party.
Yeah, it's always been the case that people generally grift. Like that, the idea that people go after their moral standards, these are very minuscule numbers. You're talking 8% of a population, not 25, not 35, not 45. People vote in their best interest.
Absolutely. And you know what? I do not disagree. And even in the sense that you're going to be like, yeah, let me give you your card. I don't understand why women get upset with white women that vote Republican. If my husband is white and him being able to make more money and have better leverage, why would I not vote for that? That goes into the, to me, delusion of believing that, oh, we're all women, so we're all going to be on the same page. And that's just not true. And it's a dumb way to operate.
Yeah, take it back one step. Now, this girl, Be Better,
Mm-hmm.
She wouldn't be in the position that you're laying claim to, right? In the sense that, okay, she's now going to become productive.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever this is, probably going to turn into a record deal somewhere, right? It'll
Mm-hmm.
just eventually become a thing. Thus,
Mm-hmm.
she's now being productive, meaning she's
Mm-hmm.
going to end up paying taxes, right? She'll end
Mm-hmm.
up buying a house. She'll end up paying property taxes. This is what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you now want to focus on where she's from.
No. So
Is your
the
intention to
intention,
use her as an example to get
yes.
over it?
So
Oh,
the
okay.
intention is, let's listen to what's being said. Let's see where we can say, like, you can't do anything about a child that's already here, right? But you can say, okay, the child is here. Are we reading? Are we doing everything that we can so that the next generation doesn't fall for this? Because if your mom did it and now you did it, there has to be a stopgap of, you understand with dealing with older men that this is not productive. So when you have a child, you need to be able to express and say, this may be something that seems alluring. This may be something that seems like it's going to benefit you, but here are some of the situations. And then
What's wrong with older men?
I don't think there's anything wrong with older men. We both agreed that 17 to 32, that's quite a jump.
Okay. If she was 18 and he was 40, still got a problem?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't. Okay, so I'm a believer in lawful but awful. It is not against the law, but it's just awful morally. It's you at 18 and you're 40. There's nothing that you can. It's you're grooming. You don't have, outside of the fact that she has a vagina and you have a member, and you want to put your member in her vagina. She doesn't have any of the same life experience. She doesn't. Nothing is equal. That it can never be an equitable relationship, ever.
Oh, so you want relationships to be equitable? How is the moral standard working on the whole, like, make it transactional? That seemed like, well,
we're no, we're not going to do that, because here's the thing. Like I said, there's a thing where people like to use new language and try to act like it's a new, oh my gosh, this is a new theory. No, relationships have always been transactional.
Okay, no problem. Then you can't,
even in the sense of when you marry. No.
Right. If it is,
we're not in a time where a father married his daughter off and got a dowry. That's not where we are. That is a different situation. When we are talking about a young woman who may be impoverished, and because this man has a car and a little bit of money, he looks rich and he's taking advantage of someone. That's completely different.
She's not taking advantage of him because it's transactional now. She has access to the car and the home, right?
Does she?
Yeah. I would assume if she's married, you're saying she gets married and she's chained to the stove in the house? I mean, that would make me happy, but.
What do they say about assumptions? It makes an ass out of you and me, right? So we're not going to assume. So we agree. We're going to do some research. This is a series. So like I said, today was to listen to the song. What's the point? And then what we will do is I will carve it out and I'm going to have you come up, and I want for you to explain and or give how this does not affect society and the budget and our services.
It affects it if she's drawing off of it.
So we're gonna circle back.
Yeah.
Again, we got the song. So we're gonna take next week. We're gonna take the first two and break it down, and then I'm gonna put the link and put you out there, and then we're gonna talk about one, how it affects quote unquote society, and we'll say morality, but then also how this could potentially be affecting the bottom line in social services in budgetary needs, that if this was not being practiced in mass, how we might perhaps be able to save certain benefits. Sound
What
like
do
a
you mean?
plan?
You want to basically have a discussion over spending on specific groups of people?
I wouldn't say yes and no. I will say
Okay.
what's the cost in if this person is quote unquote low income and totally reliant upon the system. How is that affecting, like, even like debt? Do we have too many people that are pulling but never putting in? Is it something to where we find some skill sets that now these people can contribute, and therefore if you are pulling, social services, it's not so much of a drag? Because I think that there's a fine line in how we can make things, I don't want to say work for everybody, but it's not completely you get everything or nothing, or you can just draw and have kids and that just is just a thing.
Wait,
Like
what's
I
wrong with
said,
the what's wrong with the everything or nothing?
that's just not how life is.
That's
It's
exactly how life is.
it's not.
At the end of the day, at the end of the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it's first of all, let me be clear about this. The Black community is not the impoverished community. And I can pull up the labor stats on this, but it's
Mm-hmm.
generally like 65% is considered middle class.
Mm-hmm.
This year, the upper class jumped up to 11%. It was at 10%. So that's 76 of population. I don't know how to parse the kids out, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
the only thing I haven't figured out how to do. The retirees I can get out there, but you're looking at
But
roughly between 3 and 4%.
so,
Now, when
Josh,
you can,
so now that you said that, and this is what I would love for you to give the information on. What happens oftentimes is that a family will claw their way up to middle class or upper middle class, but by the time the money goes to the legacy, it doesn't cycle. It doesn't. The wealth doesn't retain the value. And I think that, look at the stats, and we'll talk about it.
yeah, property
But
assets would be a different story. I'd
not
agree there.
not even with property. It is just something to where I don't
Well,
know what.
what legacy is getting left behind within the Black community?
I don't necessarily know if a lot of people are even
It's
getting the
got to be the
benefit.
house.
What no beyond the house. So like for me, being a particular age, um, everybody had a life policy. You had a home that would roll over to somebody. You um, a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that the best way to acquire wealth and assets is either property and or death. And death can be a great equalizer in the sense of it can bolster up. But if you
Yes.
have never had access to money and your children don't know money management, nor do they understand property taxes, nor do they understand. So when you look and see a lot of homes that are lost, it's because the kids don't maintain the property or they don't pay the property taxes. And this
Right.
is financial
And that's
education that needs to
yeah,
happen. And I wouldn't say in the educational system, I would say community wise, we need to shore up some things like that, but also acknowledge that if you've
whoa, 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 whoa,
clawed,
whoa, 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 whoa. So you want the community, okay, let's say a neighborhood, and
mhm,
we'll keep it Black, right?
mhm,
So let's just say there's a 250 houses in a neighborhood, right?
mhm,
And that neighborhood, you want them to get together and basically have like a equal training amongst, like, this is how you save your house, this is how you do the thing, except for the cost of that is going to come to a competition. You're not going to have any advantages. There always has to be an upper class to stand on the middle class that ends up standing on the poor class.
no, that's an American caste system. And we talked about that. And I was very honest. And there is a caste system. But even if there is a caste system, it doesn't mean that we have to be at the bottom. Somebody can be at the bottom. It doesn't have to be us. Period.
Who is the us?
It doesn't have to be Black people. Period. Point blank.
It's already not the case that it's Black people, but within your concept, right, of this 250 house community, right?
Mhm.
You're saying, okay, the caste system can exist within the ether. It just can't apply within this specific community, right? That's going to be a pipe dream because that's saying we're special, treat us different kind of thing.
No, it's we understand economics, we understand property value, we understand that the one thing that they can't make of on this planet is land.
Right.
Real
But why
estate,
can't
no.
10%?
Real estate, understanding, ensuring, even if it's okay, say an older person has a home and they don't have any kids to will it to say, okay, this subdivision, we know this house is here. We're gonna absorb it and we're going to split the cost until a family moves in and pays the property.
Yeah, let me rephrase a little bit. Within that 250 house community, right? Why can't the 10 or 11% become upper class by basically predatory lending within that community, that kind of thing? Why can't we have upper class Black bankers?
That's our time, because this man done said predatory lending. He wants us to behave like them. We're gonna have Josh come in. I'm gonna research. We're gonna do the next, like I said, the first two verses, and then Josh is gonna come in as an expert and talk about potentially maybe the stop gaps that if we shored up the areas that she was talking about, how it would be a benefit to ourselves, the community, and also the United of the States, because whether you want to acknowledge it or not, if you're an American, you are a part of the system, and we need to understand and learn how to be a value add, and how to also, because we're a value add, demand certain rights. And again, when we do the right thing, because it's the right thing to do, and or we're aware of our rights, it all helps for the betterment of everybody. So thank y'all for joining. Those of you that are within the this might be risky community, I'll be hanging out with y'all. This is something we're gonna do for some time.
Bringing my boot. I'm bringing my boot, standing on next episode.
I know. But I want to thank everybody that joined. Thank everybody that followed. Please comment, like, subscribe, share. I am gonna steal this. Tell a friend and tell a friend about a friend. And we're going to have a great 2025. It's only going to get better from now. Yep. Bye, guys. Thank you, Josh.
Yes, ma'am. Look at her being all sweet.
Get off. Can't stand you. I end this dang thing. End.